Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies and we go as guided. And woo, it's a whole new month. It's August. It is a new number. It is the 8. And there's a lot of energy, a lot of energy. And I want to start off just by saying a few weeks back on July 17th on that show, it was actually, I take that back, it was on July 12th was the show, but they were talking about the 17th and these energies, and they said, upside down, boy, you turn me inside out, round and around. I don't know about all of you, but that is certainly the case when just the energies, when you're looking at what's happening on the world stage, um, in your lives and other people's lives, your friends, your coworkers, colleagues, and so forth, just everything being inside out, upside down, just discombobulated. It's a very interesting um, energetic right now. So I'm bringing that from the show on the 12th, where they were speaking about the 17th and just showing you, and it's a very interesting thing, the 17. While today, August 2nd, 2023, becomes a 17. So I'm just getting this hark back to that moment and it's playing out. I'm aware of the fact that these energies that the unseen has been guiding us and providing us and showing us is playing out. Um, so there's a lot to cover here. There is a lot to cover. As you're joining, throw into the comments, say hello, where you're joining from and everything. And then remember that myself and the unseen, we take your comments live and your questions and we incorporate them throughout the broadcast. Welcome, Olivia. Good morning from Texas. Hot Texas, I bet. um, so let's jump in. And there's going to be I am going to do my best. There is a lot here. And I just want to show you the amount. I don't often show you all, but these are the notes for the show. They're handwritten, 8.5 by 11 page. And there's two sides to this. And that's the same way when I do an individual reading or a group reading, however it may be. I sit and listen to the unseen, and they tell us what's going on. So let's jump into it. One of the things, put my specs on, one of the things that we're going to be dealing with a lot is, and you're going to see the 8-1, which was yesterday, the creative force. 8:30 and 8-1 yesterday into today, depending on where you were around the world yesterday, it was already tomorrow. It was the first, it's the Aquarian super full moon. Okay, it's called the Sturgeon moon. So we have this full moon, and in the month of August, we have bookending full moons. I'll show you that momentarily. Welcome, Dr. Suhu. Um, so 8-1 yesterday into today, it was the Sturgeon supermoon, full moon, Aquarius full moon. On the 30th, coming up at the end of the month, we will have our second full moon in August in the same month. It's known as a blue moon. That'll be a Pisces super full blue moon. And you see the receptive force. And the unseen gave me 8-1 is tying to the blue, 8:30 is tying to the pink. And for everybody, you would get, the masculine baby blue boy, baby pink girl. So masculine, feminine, and this creative force, receptive force. And how the two are bookending this month, how the two are working in tandem, in concert with one another. And we've been talking about how we are looking at our own internal divine masculine, divine feminine, right? And so here they are, they're playing this out. This is going to be a very pivotal month, time of transition, transfiguration, transformation. We're going to be really in the thick of it, is what they're saying. We're in the thick of it. And one of the first things is that they brought up was this theme of blinded by the light. then taking charge with a subheader of taking charge dot 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 behind the scenes. So what they're saying is, with this book ending, just bringing it back up, the 8-1 full moon, super full moon, the 8:30 super full moon, on the 1st and the 30th, this blinded by the light, taking charge behind the scenes. So, and of course, we know this to be true, right? We know that we all believe, I mean, let me rephrase. Even I, prior to all of this, had a understanding, a belief that we, the individual, the ego, mind, personality, is in charge. We are in charge. And what this journey from with the Lady Jacqueline from back in November of 21, on the 17th, by the way, through now and much prior for myself, the awareness has shifted to no, the soul, our soul source connection, the soul is in charge. The unseen is in charge. And we have co-created, we have agreed, so each of us have agreed to show up, 8 billion souls on the planet, have agreed to show up for this time, for this exercise, this experiment, this co-creating as the divine. And that's where they're saying, blinded by the light, taking charge behind the scenes. So we're going to see how, in this month, we're going to see how our soul source connection, the soul, higher octave, higher hand, is taking charge behind the scenes. How what we said we would do, what our soul said it would do, comes to the forefront, comes to be. And that the ego, mind, personality takes a back seat, recedes. It does not mean, again, as we've often talked about, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We absolutely need a healthy, integrated ego, mind, personality. But the key words are integrated. The key word in this instance, integrated. I misspoke and said plural because we have a lot of key words, key phrases that are going to be playing out this month. And so let me just bring them up. And this, by the way, too, ties in with the full moon, the astrological chart for the full moon that just occurred yesterday. And I'm going to show that to you. It's going to be, there's a lot here to cover on that. But let me just show you these key words. We have blinded by the light, taking charge behind the scenes. Dead center, right in the middle, X marks the spot. To the left of it, we have Mercy Me. It's Mercy, Mercy Me. It's a song by Marvin Gaye. To the right of it, we have Oaths Sworn. So this is about, so again, it's kind of like X marks the spot. This time frame, this moment marks the spot. Mercy, Mercy Me is, in essence, this having mercy, where we have it upon us, allow it, afford it to others, because this moment is going to be transformational. And then about the oath sworn, it's about realizing what was the oath your soul, you often hear, metaphysically speaking, about soul contracts. Well, what is the oath that your soul swore, that it agreed to? Then we have chop and sticks. Chopsticks is it's a waltz. It's the celebrated chop waltz. That's what it's known by, but its common name is known by chopsticks. But notice that it's not STIX, it's STYX. What the unseen is saying here and showing us is STYX. STYX was the first goddess to pledge her allegiance to Zeus, the Olympian. It was the battle between the Olympians and the Titans. And she pledges her oath. And thereby, every other immortal god, it was known as the deathless gods, all the deathless gods pledged their allegiance to Zeus by the river Styx, by Styx, because she's known as both a goddess but also a river. So it was a very mega oath. If you violated the oath, there was 9 years of punishment, yada, yada, yada. In other words, it was the highest of the high of oaths, this pledging. So, what did your soul say it would do? So, here we are, chopsticks. Then it's time. X marks the spot. It's time. And then we had talked about these double eights. And literally, it's the month of August, and the month, the day, and the year today adds up to a 17, which become 1 plus 7 becomes an 8. So we have these double eights. You're going to see where, and there's more. There's coming full circle. There's endings and beginnings. There's forever changed. There's on the other side of. So I'm going to go through all this. I could only put so many on the slide that you're seeing in front of you on the screen, but I wanted to give you a taste of this month. Blinded by the light, chopsticks, X marks the spot, it's time, oath sworn, double eights, mercy me, um, forever changed. There's so many because bookending between August 1st and the end of the month, because again, that next full moon on 8:30 is here on the, say, the West Coast and so forth, but it's already 8:31 in Europe and everything. So it's literally bookending this entire month. And when I look at this entire month from the unseen, the intuitive, there's a straight line right down the middle. So if they're giving me vertical points from the bottom to the middle to the top, it's just a straight vertical line. It's a straight shot. Like we've aligned things where we've aligned everything to bowl strikes. They're right down the middle. And that's what this month is about. Let me bring up the main energies. So we have the main energies, 8 of uniting, unite. And this is going to play out all next year. So remember this 8, and we got double eights right now. There'll be triple eights next year. There's this, and they're preparing us. They're wanting us to see how this moment now is a snapshot in time of the future present. Everything happens in the present moment. So, and it is about coming together. And yes, it's Aquarian age. So Pluto and Aquarius going next year, fully January 24th for the next 2+ decades. Well, this uniting is not just externally. Yes, we the people, Aquarian, in the uniting, but it's also uniting ourselves internally from the inside out. And so there's this uniting. Today, the receptive force to reflect, to see ourselves, to see our relationships, our soul contracts, our sworn oaths, these things. I'm talking too fast. I'm like, woo, the energy. So you can see these things, but it's about, and doing so, the receptive force, the divine feminine, to do so with love and kindness and care and empathy and compassion with ourselves, certainly with ourselves, and with others, with the whole of the whole. Let me just bring in Dr. Sue, who is saying, I see it as a lion and lioness with my masculine energy, Jung's anima and animus for our female male psyche. Exactly. This beautiful, and certainly with, you'll see here in just a minute how the lion's gate uh, and how Dr. Suhu is bringing in the lion and the lioness, these beautiful aspects. And remember, the lion, the king of the jungle, the lioness, the queen of the jungle. We need not roar. We need not utilize the shadow element, if you will, of the divine masculine to effectuate being seen, our beingness. It simply is, I am. I am this. I don't need to defend it. I don't need to prove it. I don't need to um, utilize lack energy, shadow energies to effectuate it. Simply be it. And Dr. Sue, who was also saying it is not easy at all at all topsy-turvy and history to change big time. Exactly. It's not easy. I mean, imagine, give yourselves a pat on the back for realizing that your soul swore an oath to be here at this moment in time to effectuate the beauty, the majesty, and the austerity of this moment, of this time, of this transition from divine masculine, Piscean, divine patriarchal rule, 2,000 plus years of it, to matriarchal Aquarian rule, from the individual to the collective, from the climbing, the attempting to reach the ideal to becoming it, the ideal becoming the new reality, achieving it, no longer striving for it, but literally achieving it. And that you all, everyone here, everyone 8 billion and all of you listening, chose to be here, chose to participate, chose to play your role in leveling up, in advancing, in moving forward. It's incredible because, again, it hasn't happened, and there is an aspect of this time that talks about that it goes on forever, eternity, infinity, and you're going to see how that plays out. So just keep in mind, let me bring them back up really quickly because I forget sometimes that I've got a screen up and you're not seeing me, but you hear me. So it's not about seeing me, but you hear me. So the receptive force, to reflect. 7, army, legions, correct discipline. We've covered this many times. It is about going as a guided. It is about utilizing higher mind, higher consciousness, higher actions, and knowing that you have everything you need. It's already there. 17 is adorning. Oops, I forgot to change it. It's not adorning. It is follow, be led. It is going as guided. And 8, again, double eights, bookending eights, this uniting, this coming together. So realize that this month, and when they say blinded by the light, what they're talking about is we're going to be blinded by the light, the truth of things, the opportunity of things. So think from micro, our own individual lives, to the macro, the whole of the whole, and everything in between. Blinded by the light. But blinded by the light is also to cleanse, to purify, to remove any doubt, any shadow of doubt. It is to bring it forward, to cleanse it, to transmute it, because we've got to release the past to make space for the future. And that's, again, is it in our individual lives? Is there a relationship? Is there animosity, resentment, anger, hurt? Release it. Release it. Make space, because imagine how much energy, how much time, energy, emotion is tied up in that, where you just let it go. And all of a sudden, here's all of this openness within you for everything new. And look, the new, it literally brings a smile from the inside out. I just beam, because it's like, oh, I've made space for the new opportunities, for the new. And I'm wiser. I'm smarter. I'm wiser. I'm more centered, balanced, and calm. This is me thinking of you from the inside out. This is us from the inside out. And see, because I am that, and because I'm rising up to meet this time, I know that that's what it avails. That is what's on offer. The past is behind us. We've had that experience. Now we move to the new. That's where we are. So let's look at this. Let me just switch over here really quickly. We're going to look at this full moon, and here's the chart. I'm going to bring it up, share my screen. Okay, so here is the chart for yesterday's full moon, the Aquarius full moon, supermoon. Now, when you look, pay attention to the inner circle where you see the crisscrossed red lines. You see a green line under it, and you see a blue line under that. what's so beautiful, and left and right of one of the red lines is the full moon, the sun in Leo opposite the moon in Aquarius, the full moon in Aquarius. And we also then have um, one of the other red lines is Mercury opposite Saturn. So how we communicate, how we think, how we believe. Saturn, the master teacher, the great teacher. These two intersect, they crisscross. And at that point, as I'm looking at this astrological wheel, and you'll see the blue line, it goes between Jupiter and Mars. It's the blue line. When you then see, and the green line goes between Neptune and Venus. And those two are retrograde. So Venus and Neptune retrograde. That's what the little R with the X at the foot of it. So what I heard intuitively when I looked at this, the unseen said, fully balanced, fully supported. So fully balanced, Neptune and Venus. Fully supported, Jupiter, Mars. Outcome assured, Sun and Moon. Mercury and Saturn. So there's this sense that, and here's this X marks the spot. Now, I'm going to bring something up really quickly and just notice, pay attention to the X in the center, the red X in the center. And now look at this new image, and you'll see a very kind of grayed line running right through the center of the X marks the spot. That grayed line is perfectly aligned. That is the new Aries Libra North Node, South Node axis. It intersects perfectly with this X marks the spot. And what that said to me intuitively, they said, don't you see? See, we're moving forward. There's the axis, the North Node and the South Node axis, where North Node denotes where humanity is going, South Node what we're releasing. It's just shifted into this Aries, North Node, South, Libra. And they're saying, don't you see? X marks the spot. Where we're going perfectly intersects this. Fully balanced, fully supported, outcome assured. So where we're going, the outcome is assured. It's harmonic. It's matriarchal. It's the Aquarian age. It is we the people. It is our highest and best. It is about how we see ourselves, how we release, and we've talked about this a lot, how we release the old masks, identities, labels, institutions, the way we've done it, because we've exhausted it. We've ran, it's like we've ran the marathon, or we've ran the race of the patriarchal rule, the patriarchal Piscean era. We've been there, done that. We've done it. And now we advance into the new, and thereby this month, this moment, this bookending of these two full moons, this brings about the change, the transformation, the transfiguration, the literal upheaval, the being blinded by the light, the river Styx, the most sacred oath that our soul makes. It's not the ego, mind, personality that made it. It's the soul that made it before we ever came, before we ever incarnated. And here we are bringing this to bear and finding a balance in our lives, because it's going to be equilibrium, harmony. So it's both Aries, our divine masculine, moving forward, that divine nature, that power, that impetus, that empowerment moves us forward. And at the tail, Libra, balance, justice. That, and let me just bring up this beautiful image because it says it all. Here is Lady Justice. Justice is blind, and yet her scales are perfectly balanced. Her scales. Note that justice, our legal system, equanimity, is represented by the divine feminine because she knows she is the very best of us. And when we connect with our divine feminine and lead with it, lead with our soul, with in fully integrated, fully balanced divine masculine, we're fully balanced, fully supported. Our outcome is assured. Ease, dis-ease. Harmony, disharmony. You see this beautiful, and they're talking about this. So remember, chopsticks is the celebrated chop waltz. Well, what is a waltz? This is a dance in triple time performed by a couple who, as a pair, turn rhythmically around and around as they progress around the dance floor. We've talked so many times, the unseen. Life is a dance. You're at the dance. Do you have a partner at the dance? And here they're talking about, and in triple time. So we're dancing in triple time. Things have sped up. Things are moving much faster. And it's performed by a couple. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean there are no genders. Take away gender and everything. We all have divine masculine, divine feminine. So who, as a pair in harmony, turn rhythmically. It's integrated. It's balanced. And literally, waltz is it's of German origin. It means to revolve. And one could say at this moment, to revolve, but to evolve, to be in harmony with ourselves first, and then with and for each other. It's the commitment, it's the oath we made. This is the arc of destiny, forward. We will come in and show up at this time to advance, to move forward. That is what our soul said it would do. It did not say, although some some are trying, that we would rewind the clock. That is not what this is about. So here we have that beautiful dance, that symmetry of divine masculine, divine feminine, harmony and balance. Here we have Lady Justice, perfectly balanced, the scales, and look, her arm outreach. It's outstretched. Blindfolded, she has a sword in the other hand, and those scales are perfectly balanced. And that outstretched arm says, this is the way. Harmony, balance. That is the way. So fully balanced, fully supported, outcome assured. And that's key to realize. The outcome is assured. So align in our personal lives, individual lives. Anything mental chatter, monkey mind, old labels, identities, beliefs, things. Namaste. I bow to the divine in you. Thank them and allow them, release them, allow them to effortlessly leave you. Empty the vessel. The master in Tao, empty the vessel. Be an empty vessel. That means no judgment, no preconceived notions. We just empty the vessel. Why? Now, it feels vulnerable, right? I mean, you can be like, oh, I don't know. I mean, that seems really raw and vulnerable and scary. But just imagine, okay, now flip the script and say, now imagine that beautiful, imagine in your mind's eye, this beautiful vessel. And whatever form or image that takes for you, what I'm seeing is this beautiful crystal vessel. Clear, pure, shimmering rainbow light. When it hits it, it's this full spectrum. And imagine that crystal vessel empty, meaning ready to receive. It's not full to where, well, gee, the mind immediately goes, well, it's full. There's no room. There's no room to go anywhere with it. However, when you visualize and picture this beautiful empty vessel, what I'm seeing for myself is a pure crystal vessel. Whatever yours is yours. You may see many different things, a copper vessel, a gold vessel, whatever it may be. an earth vessel. The point is to see it, quote unquote, empty. There's a knowing behind that emptiness, meaning um, that it's whole and complete. It's full. There's nothing lacking. It's simply ready to receive. That is the image of what they're talking about. And so this is where the waltz, X marks the spot, chopsticks, and very interesting, by the way, the chopsticks, the celebrated chop waltz, it was created. It was the only item that Euphenia Allen, a woman, Euphenia Allen, um, put forth into the public domain, and so, but she did it under a pen name, Arthur de Lully. So imagine, in order for her to express her divine nature, her soul, her divinity at this time, I believe it was late 1800s, early 1900s, she had to do so under a pen name, under a masculine, a male pen name. And yet, no longer. No longer. We will lead with our soul. We will lead with our divine feminine. We will have our divine masculine in perfect harmony and alignment. And we will have our ego, mind, personality in alignment and service to the soul. And those integrated with heart, soul, spirit makes this beautiful inverted, which is the symbol for the divine feminine, inverted triangle. That's what we were talking about. And they said, so chopsticks, aka X marks the spot. It's time. Your, in quotes, true calling revealed. So yes, we're talking about our true, it's time. X marks the spot. It's now. Here it is. It connects. It clearly intersects north-south node, and it will be revealed, blinded by the light. It will be revealed. It will be made known to us. And so realize this is true of every individual. It'll be from the micro to the macro. We're going to see it within our individual lives, all the way out to the whole of the whole, what we see on the world stage, because of the oaths sworn. These soul, they're sacred. It's our soul. It's not our ego, mind, personality making the choice or the decision. It can be in the sense that the ego, mind, personality recognizes this moment and says, yes, now is the time. I'm doing it. I'm aligning with my soul. I'm going soul source connection, true north. And that's that. Done. No more procrastinating, delaying, denying, negotiating. I'm on board. I'm going. And that is what this moment in time is. And this, I'm just going to bring it up very quickly one more time. Here it is. Here's that Aquarius, super full moon, sturgeon moon, and X marks the spot with the gray line running through the red. And there it is, that intersection of time, that intersection of destiny, that intersection of fate, of knowing. That's where we are. Let me grab some of your comments here. Welcome, Brigitte and Dr. Sue. I have been cleaning my apartment, condensing and organizing, and decided to steam clean for a good pure clean of just gunk made by others, not myself. Exactly. Purging, cleansing. We have been talking about. They have been talking about this for some time. This whole purging and releasing, cleaning out the old. And this can be physical, person, places, things, objects. And again, from the standpoint of absolute gratitude and grace. Because we played a role, whatever it was, person, place, thing, object, whatever it may be, we played an active participative role in it being in our lives. And we have the absolute opportunity to release it all and make beautiful space for the new. She goes on to say, yes, that is working on a new mental health team. And yes, I have done it and it keeps happening, but I am learning a great deal on the work I do love. Yes, justice is so much what I want for me and others. Yes, because when we want it for ourselves, we want it for others. It's just that simple and beautiful. So, um, let me also bring in so number three, they talked about the numbers today, and I'm just going to bring up on my screen here so I can speak to you all with it. So there are the 8, the 2, the 7, the 17. There's also a 10 in there. But hexagram 8, uniting, unite, its hidden influence is 23. We've been dealing with this for a lot. Split apart, release the past, make space, cleanse out, clear out, so as to what? Regenerate. Its underlining cause, 14. Great possessing, shine. Blinded by the light, shine. Radiate your light. Do so in a respective manner, but do so with enthusiasm and just unabandoned joy. You no permissions, no explanations, no defending, just shine your light. Be you. And that will connect you to like-minded souls where we will again have a beautiful experience. And this is very on point. It says, when you merge the world in here with the world out there, your destiny is revealed. That is what this uniting, that's what this energy is all about. It is uniting us from the inside out. Mind, body, soul. Everything united. Perfect harmony. No disconnect. That's where it is. We then move on to today's the second. Well, the receptive force. And we had that. So just bringing it back up. And they were very clear about 8-1, 8-2, 8-1, 8-2. So creative force is 1, receptive force is 2. And they were bringing these up. And so here the receptive, its action is to reflect. Its hidden influence is itself. So with the receptive force, with the divine feminine, its hidden influence, internal, is itself. Why? Because it means to yield. See, it's think before you speak. Don't send things, write something 10 times before you send it. It's to yield. It's to be reflective. It is to go inside. It is to be receptive. And then its underlining cause is its partner, its divine partner, its WALTZ partner. 1, creative force. Why? Because it's to initiate. So see, when we initiate, when we're perfectly balanced, perfectly supported, the outcome is assured because we're in the right step, we're in the groove. And thereby we have the divine masculine, the Aries aspect, the ability to initiate, to move forward, to take action in a very balanced, harmonic, correct way. Correct discipline. 7, army, legions, correct discipline. And there's a quote, reaction is how you defend the past against the future. Exactly. It's like, again, remember the truth speaks for itself. The truth becomes a part of your past, a lie, your future, because you got to keep telling the lie. You got to keep remembering the lie. You've got to keep defending what isn't what you're doing, what isn't what it really is. And thereby, reaction is how you defend the past against the future. Think about that from Piscean era to Aquarian era. We don't need to defend the past. We all lived it. It's our history. It's our ancestry. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. However, so we don't need to defend the past. We simply need to walk in the present moment, move forward, advance. So, and there's another quote by Ovid, take rest. A field that has rested gives a bountiful crop. There's a reason we rotate in farming and agriculture. They let the fields rest. They let them replenish so as to nurture ourselves, so as to bring out the vital nutrients and vitamins and Um, the goodness, it's the same. So 7, it's army, correct? It's legions, army, correct discipline. Its hidden influence is return, meaning return back to our center, return back to centeredness. If we are too much masculine, too much feminine, too much in our heads, too much disconnected, return, go back to center, soul source connection. It is whole and complete, has everything you need. It's fully balanced, fully supported, outcome assured. Its underlining cause, fellowship, unity, fellowship, being one with each other, and socialize, to share, to interact in a positive manner. And I love this quote. It's a Chinese proverb. If you do not stand for something, you will fall for anything. Just be mindful of what you stand for. Is it for the greater good? Because remember too that brilliant idiom, with great power comes great responsibility. Each of us, as a divine soul, a divine creation, a spark of the divine, hold great power. We hold great power with and for ourselves, and how we wield it and utilize it with others. So with great power comes great responsibility. Lastly is 17. And 17 is follow, be led, and its action is show by example. Its hidden influence is 53, development, to flower, shine your light. Its underlining cause, 18, decay, remedy, repair what's spoiled. So when we know something's spoiled, let it go, cleanse it, purify it, atone for it, because then we're making space, we're polishing our vessel, we're honing our skill, we're honing our soul, we're one with it. And it repairs, it remedies what's spoiled. There's a beautiful quote. This is all I take these the hexagrams from Cafe Au Sol. It's Carrie Hone at cafeausol.com. When you return from the darkness with gold, others will naturally follow. So remember, the shadow, we aren't meant to kill the shadow. We aren't meant to demonize the shadow. We are meant to come back from the darkness, from that dark or the shadow elements, with gold, with wisdom. Because otherwise, we're just doubling and quadrupling down on the lack element, the shadow element. We're meant to purify both the light and the dark. And so this is where, and this is a quote by Plato, we've had this before, it's beautiful. When we can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark, the real tragedy of life is when men, women are afraid of the light. Don't be afraid of the truth. Don't be afraid of the light. Don't be afraid of looking in and seeing yourself and cleansing and clearing and making space. Don't be afraid of emptying your vessel, because that is when you are most empowered. That is when you are most pure. And that is strength personified. That says it all. So let's look through. I wanted to bring up our main theme. Our main theme, and this is incredible, this coming full circle. We have a lot of main themes this week. There's a lot going on in the energy. So we had this image, the one behind, the infinity symbol. We had that from last week. Then they brought forward with all of these numbers, and they said, coming full circle, and then the Ouroboros. And the Ouroboros is, the infinity symbol is actually based on the Ouroboros. And so they both represent endlessness, infinity. There's this whole endings and beginnings contained within the other. It's why this snake, the serpent, is in essence eating its own tail, consuming its own tail, because where it ends, it begins. Where it begins, it ends. And so there's this very powerful thing of coming full circle. And it's to demonstrate the infinity, the ease, the fluidity of our nature, of this moment, of this time, to not become overwhelmed or afraid, but to simply flow in the endlessness of your being, your nature, this of the unseen, of our soul source connection, of being seen and supported. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. When we return, when we go back, when we return to center, take a breath, take a beat, we will be able to see things clearly. We will be able to see them with this purity and beauty. It's life force, it's eternity, it's effortless, it's ease, it's fluidity. And look at the center, right there in the circle. What's there? X marks the spot. Powerful images. I'm going to place these up on the Facebook show thread afterwards. Um, it was really quite amazing because, again, the unseen is guiding me. They bring forward the infinity symbol, then they show me the Ouroboros. I put the two together, and all of a sudden I go, oh, another X marks the spot. Not really another, the X marks the spot. That is what they're talking about with this, with the chart, the astrological chart, the Aquarian full moon, the Sturgeon moon, the infinity symbol with the Ouroboros. X marks the spot. There's a moment within us about being perfectly aligned, lining up. Lining up meaning align. And in that alignment, in that perfection of the alignment, is X marks the spot. Number 4 was double supermoons. This 8-1, 8-30. There's also a fixed T-square, meaning the sun and the moon are at the top of the T, and Jupiter is at the base of the T, and they're in fixed signs. And this is when they said endings and beginnings. And let me just give you this image. Here it is. That Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And they said with these double full supermoons and the endings and beginnings, forever changed, ... on the other side of this time hyphen event. So what they're saying to us is, here's August, here's the 8-1, here's the 8-30-31, here's this event, this moment, this time, and they're saying forever changed on the other side of this time, of this moment, of this event. So however this plays out in our individual and collective lives, you, me, I, we will be forever changed, blinded by the light. Everything being brought to bear, to the fore, transmuted, transfigured, transformed. God, there's so many. See, this is what I'm saying. There's so many words in this energy in this show for this kicking off, and it goes to show. Remember, this is a preview for next year on. Here's the 8-year on. Next, number 5 was where Mercy, Mercy Me came in, and it's a song by Marvin Gaye. Back in it was recorded in 1971, and in his biography, Divided Soul. It's a very interesting title, Divided Soul, and they're talking here to us about unifying, aligning. X marks the spot. We've chosen sacred oaths sworn. And Marvin Gaye said in this biography, when we don't follow, and he quotes Jesus, Master Jesus, when we don't follow Jesus' example, and the example is all about love. It is about empathy, compassion, non-judgment, goodness, love thy neighbor as thyself. It's all of these things that we've been taught. It's all of these things that we know. And take this from a strip any form of, and I mean no um, disrespect or anything. I just want to be clear about the purity of the message. Disassociate, if you will, for a moment, Master Jesus from any religion and simply receive it from the purity of the truth of the statements of the essence of the soul of this. When we don't follow that, the purity of that energy, the purity of that message, the truth of it, when we don't follow that example and turn to exploitation and greed, we destroy ourselves. That's what mercy, mercy me is all about. And so again, how lost are we? How individually and collectively, how far away from the light, from truth, from center, from the actual purity of the message that was brought forth 2000 plus years ago, from the purity of Master Jesus' soul, from his sacred oath sworn. When we move from that, when we don't align with that, exploitation, greed, it's all shadow stuff meant to be transmuted. It said this song was recorded in 1971 when the public's awareness of environmentalism was at an all-time high. Imagine how mortified Mr. Gay would have been if he had seen what was going to happen to the environment during the next 50 plus years. This was 50 plus years ago. And this is where he was talking about not following the purity of something, the exploitation and greed of something. So they gave us that song, which I will put up. And then we spoke about number 6, and 6 being spirit and service. So this fully balanced, fully supported, outcome assured, which is our mantra. That is our mantra for this week. Fully balanced, fully supported, outcome assured. It's the mantra. I also want to bring up this quote really quickly before we go, and it says, everything is destiny. All things are already complete in itself, in oneself. So see, this is talking about everything is destiny. The arc of destiny is forward. And so this is where we're saying all things are already complete in oneself. Complete in oneself, meaning the soul has already chosen. It's already made its oath, its sworn oath. It's already said what it does. Yes, we have free will within our own sworn oath. Show up, and we have the opportunity to go as guided. We have the opportunity to come back to center, to align. Because again, there's something in this, there's something very extraordinary, very profound. And I'm trying to get the right word. It keeps coming in and evading me, but the point of this 8-1 to 831, 830, 831, and this straight line and this X marks the spot and the intersecting of it, in essence, the phrase I would use, I'm trying to find the word, but the phrase is, this is epic. This is like once and forever. It hasn't happened before. So it's exceedingly rare. This moment that we've all come for has never happened before, and yet already exists. It is that thing like the quote is saying, destiny, everything is destiny. All things are already complete in oneself. We already signed on the dotted line. It's already destiny, a fait accompli. It's just the aligning, the cleansing, the clearing out, the making space, and how we go about it, how quickly we go about it, but about it, like being there, done deal. Done deal. There's no negotiation. There's no turning back, going back. There's no keeping this from occurring. It's a done deal. Number seven, and speaking to that, number seven is they said seasonal hyphen a seasoned warrior. And the minute, so seasonal, and then a seasoned warrior. And the image this morning of a seasoned warrior, I was instantly taken to, to an image of Master Jesus, to the energy of that, this seasoned warrior, and that seasonal, a reason, a season, a lifetime, the season. And then I heard, what's the seventh card in the tarot? And the seventh card in the tarot is the Chariot. And the Chariot represents willpower, determination, strength, movement, advancement. And when you see the image, it's in the Rider-Waite deck, it is of an Egyptian appearing divine masculine. The sphinxes, one white, one black, perfect harmony, perfect balance, yin yang. And there's many other beautiful representations on there, other symbols. And the entire thing is about this movement forward, when you were in the chariot, if you commanded the chariot, you had command of the chariot, unless you didn't. And it said, so with this, they said victory, meaning Nike, the other, one of the other Olympians. Victory is bright hyphen determined. Blinded by the light. Victory is bright, determined, outcome assured. All of the messaging is telling us it's a done deal. We can see on the world stage how what used to work, what used to be hidden, what used to take decades and centuries to come to the light, to come to bear, is happening rapidly, and it does not work anymore. There are multiple examples of it. Is it chaos? Is it chaotic? Yes. However, it does not mean going back as in reversing. It's demonstrating how we advance, because it's demonstrating our centeredness, our determination, our will to move forward, to have justice, and the purity of that, the truth of it. Last but not least, they had me turn the page, and they had me write number 8. 8. 8 on its side is the infinity symbol. 8 is the Ouroboros. It is the infinity symbol. It is the continuation of our existence and so forth. However, it doesn't mean that it is a continuation of the old order or the old way. There are biblical references about I'm making everything new. The old order goes away. This order, this new, will go on forever. And so they had number 8, and they said a whole new world with an exclamation point. And then I wrote blank page, blank slate. We're clearing everything out, making room for the new. And then I heard the song Back to Life, Back to Reality. And what they mean by that, back to life, back to reality, that which is new. And they gave me 3 exclamation points. They underlined that. So they're saying this back to life, back to reality, post this moment. Well, it's the new. It's the new us. It's the new you. It's the new me. It's the new way. It is the matriarchal Aquarian era harmony, balance, goodness, held in high esteem is what they're saying. Meaning we will hold it from the inside out. It's like the Statue of Liberty, we have all of these. And isn't it interesting? Lady Justice, Statue of Liberty, so many things that are ideal that are good and pure and the ideal of something are represented and depicted by the divine feminine. That is our destiny. That is our fate. That is our birthright. And that is the epitome of a whole new world, the new. Can't believe we're going to end it on time. It's the first in a while. Thank you all so much for your beautiful comments. I will address them and answer them. Sorry I couldn't incorporate all of them in today's show. I love you all dearly. Thank you so much. It is an absolute honor and a privilege to be able to do this and share this with you all and have you share you and your soul and your essence with me. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and with everyone, the universe, the whole of the whole. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see what is occurring next week on the 9th. Until then, be well, be conscious, and be kind. All right? It's a beautiful saying from the animated 2015 Disney. I did a post on it. Have courage and be kind. So I love you all, and we will see you next week.